1.
What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, is the Storm Shadow to my Snake Eyes. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, dude. How are you today?
I'm not too bad. Did you see the Snake Eyes movie?
Nope. Did you?
Nope. No, I did not. I'm like moderately interested, but there's a list of movies that me and the girlfriend still have to see, and that's very low on it. So,
Really? I thought that would jump straight to the top.
Well, okay. So, fun fact, I don't really get a say. So we saw The Purge this weekend instead of Black Widow. So like that shows you the amount of say I have.
I saw the trailer for The Purge and thought, that looks like Dookie. How was it?
I mean, like a Purge movie. Like it's just like dumb.
That means nothing to me.
It's like, oh wow, this one is different than the others because it's The Purge is lasting for forever, but it's just lots of people killing. That's it. It's like this one's trying to be like, I don't know if all of them are trying to be political, but it's like this one's trying to be political in it, but it's like misses the mark. Like they kind of like the last one I saw was trying to be political. It's like they just kind of missed the mark because they're not that good.
Okay. Well, darn, I was going to rush out and see it too. I guess I'll miss this one.
I mean, this is what we'll do. And by we, I mean just you. You will watch all of the Purge movies and the TV shows, and you'll be like, which one's the best? And you'll get back to us next week.
Yeah, let me go on record and say that I'm absolutely not going to do that.
Unless we get 3 people in the comment section saying, do it, Jake, do it.
Okay. Your 3 bot accounts do not matter to me. It's not happening.
All right, fine.
All right. Let's do our news segment. I have 2 things, so I will let you talk for a while.
Okay, so to start things off, Leslie Grace has been cast as Barbara Gordon for HBO Max. She previously starred in the Heights, which I did not watch because, as I found out while trying to watch Hamilton, I think musicals are stupid. I'll like the music, but then as soon as I see them dance, I'm like, boy, this is dumb. So I just can't get into it. But have you seen In the Heights or know anything about this lady?
I Googled her, Casey.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you learn?
Well, I learned that for those that listened to last week's podcast, my theory is staying true.
Now, I have to ask, though, because, I mean, like all good conspiracy theories, you like to pick and choose. What about Barbara Gordon in Titans, who's still a ginger?
Is she, though?
She's redheaded.
I know she's in the trailer for a split second, but I really didn't get a good look at her.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like she's full on ginger, but I also really, for the most part, wouldn't say Barbara's full on ginge. She's mostly just redhead, 9 times out of 10.
Sure. We'll see. I mean, I don't know anything about this actress at all, so hopefully she is a good actress. What more can you say? Hopefully they make her a redhead.
Yeah, I am gonna just gripe though, like, and this has nothing to do with the casting, but it's like the more I hear about this specific thing, the dumber it seems. Because it's like it's its own universe. It won't be connected to any of the other Batmans, any of this other stuff. It's like, no, we're just gonna have our own thing. It's like that's not gonna work at all, I don't think.
But I thought Keaton was gonna be involved.
No, like the newest thing I heard is this is separate from every other Batman related thing in the DC universe. It's just multiverse. They're just going like, no, this is just a Batgirl universe now.
Okay.
And
so it's going to be another one of those shows where they can talk about Batman, but we're never ever going to see anything.
Maybe Batman doesn't even exist in this universe. We don't know. It's really dumb though. It's like, why not connect stuff? I mean, heck, just have her be Keaton versus Batgirl and have Michael Keaton in it. I know they don't want to like constrain their creators to, having to do their job and be in continuity, but whatever. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's pretty dumb to me.
That is pretty dumb. I hadn't heard that, so I thought that Keaton was gonna be jumping around, playing mentor to all these characters, and
I
now
mean,
they're just
that'd
throwing
be
that
the
away.
smart thing to do, but as we have talked about before, DC doesn't like doing smart things.
Yeah, like, and everybody knows that Casey and I love DC, but man, do they make stupid choices sometimes.
hmm I mean, and for the most part, they don't do it in the comics. Like, it's 100% just in their movie wing, or however you want to do it. Like, maybe it's just the Warner Brothers influence. I don't know, but yeah, it's just, I don't get how they have a, like anyone that can look at that business model and go, this is going to make lots of money. It's like, it's not.
I mean, let's say it does blow up. That's then going to make Warner Brothers say, "Oh, we need Batgirl in the movies now," but it's going to be
So
a different actress.
yeah, so we're gonna get someone new.
I want it to do well, but man, that makes me not very happy.
Yeah. No, I mean, the only way, like, that I'm gonna say this, a way that it could have worked, and it won't work now because, like, he's not connected, is like if this would have been part of the Snyderverse. But since he's not really connected to stuff until they get rid of certain people, you know, and that's in power, like when the Discovery merger happens, he's not connected to anything Warner Brothers is doing. So it's like we can't
Right.
even fall back on that. Like, had this been a Snyderverse thing, I'd be like, that would be fine. But with it not being that, even, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then some more casting news. The upcoming Injustice animated movie has the cast. This is all via the Cultured Nerd. So we have Justin Hartley as Superman, Anson Mount as Batman, Laura Bailey as Lois Lane, uh, Ramakrishna, Zach Callison as Damian and Jimmy Olsen, Brian T. Delaney as Green Lantern, Brandon Michael Hall as Cyborg, Edwin Hodge as Mr. Terrific / Killer Croc, Oliver Hudson as Plastic Man, Gillian Jacobs as Harley Quinn, Yuri Lowenthal as Mirror Master, Flash, Shazam, Derek Phillips as Nightwing and Aquaman, Kevin Pollak as Joker / Jonathan Kent. That's going to be interesting. Anika Noni Rose as Catwoman, Reed Scott as Green Arrow / Victor Saz, Farron Tahir as Ra's al Ghul, Fred Tatasciore as Captain Atom, Janet Varney as Wonder Woman, and Andrew Morgado as Mirror Master. Lots of people. Studio expects it to premiere later this year. You excited about this at all, or can you not really care?
No, I don't really care. But I really, really adore Laura Bailey and Janet Varney. They're two of my
Yeah.
favorite voice actresses, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see how it is. I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I wonder how many of these people are reprising their role, because I know some of them for sure were not from the video game, but it's like, how hard would it have been just to get the same video game cast? Because they all did great.
Probably not too hard.
Yeah, you'd think. So I mean, I don't know. And
Huh.
then my last bit of news I'll share before I let you talk is going to be a little bit like a little thing. Is that Dragon Ball Super movie title was announced. It's going to be called, such a stupid name, Dragon Ball Super Superhero the movie.
It sounds like a joke.
I know. Like, it just sounds like this was the bad Google Translate for what the actual title is.
Right.
But it, like, when they announced this, they also had like character designs for Goku, Piccolo, Pan, Krillin, and this new character that's nameless. It's set to release in 2022. I mean, that's about all we get. The new character looks kind of interesting, kind of like also like some of the characters that you would just see in the movies where you're like, I don't know who this guy is, but I guess he could be cool, type of thing, you know?
Right. I mean, I'm excited for a new movie just because I
Same.
love Dragon Ball Super, but I mean, my goodness, could they they have chose a worse title? I
Yeah,
want to hear
right.
like a really good trailer voice say that,
Right. That'd be great.
Dragon Ball Super, superhero, the movie. It's just so stupid.
I hope they somehow work the title in to like Goku and Vegeta talking, like yelling at the guy, like, they somehow say Dragon Ball Super, superhero, the movie, like in their voices as they're like charging up or something.
That's when you know they've truly sold out.
Yeah.
Okay. My first bit of news. So Brian K. Vaughan emailed comic shops and let everybody know that Saga is returning soon. All right. He did this in like an announcement that they're putting out this box set of trades for everything up to this point. And let me find his little blurb here. All right. Hey, retailer friends, Brian K. Vaughan here, interrupting your regularly scheduled solicitation to say thank you for your undying patience while Fiona Staples and I have been hard at work on the second half of Hazel's epic journey. We promise exciting news is coming. And then he goes in and talk about the slipcase a little bit. And he says, thanks again. We look forward to gracing your stands with more issues very soon. I get the feeling that when Saga does return, it will launch with its best-selling issue to date. Could there be a much-denied TV or movie adaptation in the offing as well? But just for the comic alone, comic shops and readers alike have really missed it. And then goes on to talk about Paper Girl stuff too. But anyway, if nobody's read it up to this point, no matter who you are, you would like it, and you could get that nice slipcase. Did you see the slipcase by chance?
I did not.
It's just Goose fishing off of the back of a large walrus. It's pretty
Nice.
awesome.
So I was under the impression that this next arc would be the last of it, but like the way that sounds, it sounds like we're only halfway done, and that's super exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant it as like there's going to be 100 issues. He just said the
That's
second
what it
half.
is. He's under contract now. If he breaks the contract, he's dead to me. So,
I'm sure it'll be more than one arc though.
Yeah.
But
That's
either
really
way,
exciting
stuff.
because I've been counting down the days. Okay, so Michael B. Jordan is reportedly going to use his production company to introduce Earth 2 Superman Val Zod via HBO Max. So that's exciting. I mean, we're getting the weird period piece Black Superman movie. Then we're getting a Val Zod movie, and there's still rumors of like a Man of Steel 2 starring Henry Cavill coming out, and then we have Lois and Clark Superman. So it's like or not Lois and Clark, that Superman and Lois TV show. So it's like we're getting lots of Superman live action. So I mean, I hope some of the Man of Steel stuff is actually pans out too.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that anytime we've talked about this, we've said, whichever Black Superman they go with, I'm all about. I just also want more Henry Cavill Superman. Both can be a thing. So please let both be a thing.
I really would love, because I remember there was an issue, I think it was Final Crisis, where Earth 2 Superman teamed up with regular Superman to fight Superman Prime. How cool would it be if we had Val Zod, Henry Cavill Superman, and the unnamed, Black Superman from the period piece Superman all team up to take down some big baddie in a big movie? That'd be awesome.
It would be very awesome.
Will it happen? No. But would it be cool? Absolutely.
We're here, Warner Brothers. If you would just return our calls, we've got plenty of ideas for you.
Jeff Johns has still blocked me, so I don't think that's happening. And Rob Guillory He posted on Instagram to say that more Farmhand is coming. The bad news of this, though, is he plans to end it in 10 to 11 issues. So it's too bad. I really like this series, but I'm glad it's coming back.
For sure.
Then my last bit of news, the Kaiju score, when I first talked about that comic being announced, it was already auctioned off for a movie. So some stuff about the movie kind of came out. Brian and Mark Gunn, who co-wrote and co-produced Brightburn, which is the weird Superman is a kid movie that kills people. Did you see that?
Nope.
It was but they're adapting the screenplay. Not much of the movie plot has been like out yet, so like we don't know how, if it's gonna even stick close to the comic, if the same characters, or if they're just doing their own thing with the same basic premise of a score, like a kaiju score, scored basically. And it's gonna be a Sony movie. Like that's about all it's known, but at least the wheels are turning. I'm really excited to see it.
I will definitely see it, even though I didn't read the book. The premise
You'd like
sounded
it.
pretty neat.
Yeah, I think you'd like the book if you ever get free time.
Anyway, my last thing. So Scott Snyder's company, his publishing company, what's it called? Something Jacket. Dang it, what is it? I just had it up here. Best Jacket Press. Is moving to Comixology for their Comixology Originals debut. And he's got comics, 8 new comics coming out, drawn by Raphael Albuquerque, Greg Capullo, Francesco Francavilla, Jamal Eigel, Jock, Tula Lote, Francis Manapul, and Dan Panosian, which is an insane lineup, if I'm honest. And rather than Image Comics putting these into print after the fact, Dark Horse is actually going to put them out. And I say,
Wow.
good for you, Dark Horse.
Yeah.
So I've got the little blurbs up here, and I will read them to you now. The first one is Barnstormers, and that is the one that Tula Lote is doing. And that one is a high-flying adventure romance set just after the First World War. Tula Lote's art is fantastic. Like, they showed one page with no words or anything on it, just art, and already I'm like, yeah, I'm all in on that one. And then there's The Book of Evil, which is Jock's book, and it's a prose story about 4 young friends growing up in a strange near future where over 90% of the population are born as psychopaths. Then there's Canary, which is Dan Panosian's book. It's 1891 and a mine collapses into itself. Find out what the dark substance found 666 feet underground is in this horror western. Then Clear, which is Francis Manapul's, and it's a sci-fi mystery thrill ride into a strange dystopian future where a neurological internet connection is transforming reality. Then we've got Duck and Cover, which is Raphael Albuquerque's, and it's a manga-influenced teen adventure set in the strange post-apocalyptic America of 1955, in conjunction with Albuquerque's Stout Club Entertainment. So I don't know if that's like his team of artists that work with him, but anyway. Then we've got Dudley Dotson and the Forever Machine, which is Jamal Eigel and Juan Castro. And teenager Dudley Dotson finds himself the keeper of a device that opens up time and space. But when Dudley finds himself on an Earth where dinosaurs rule, can he find his way back? Then Night of the Ghoul, which is Francisco Francavilla's. A dazzling work of horror intercutting between the present day narrative and the story of a lost horror film. Have no idea what that means. And then finally, We Have Demons, which is Greg Capullo's. And that one is the conflict between good and evil is about to come to a head when a teenage hero embarks on a journey that unveils a secret society, monsters, and mayhem. So there you
Nice,
go,
dude.
Casey. Do any of those stick out to you?
Honestly, they all sound pretty dang awesome. So I'm interested. Are they all just one shots basically, or what's the like? Do you have any idea how many? Like, is it miniseries or?
If I had to guess, miniseries, but
Yeah,
it just says creator owned comics.
yeah. What about
Yeah.
you, man? Which one are you like? Need this one?
Um, Barnstormers could be cool. I like period pieces, so that like 1891 minor one could be pretty neat. Um, but man, like I'm a big fan of all those artists. I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
like a horror fan at all, but I'm sure that Francisco Francavilla one's gonna be really cool. So
And I know you didn't read Afterlife with Archie, but Francisco Francavilla does horror. Like, I mean, from like Black Mirror with like when he did that he does the like just kind of getting you on the edge of your seat super well.
yeah, and the page of his art that it shows, I mean, it's just like that. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think all of those are going to be ones to look out for.
yeah,
And
for
again,
sure.
I'm glad that it's a Dark Horse getting these instead of the usual like Image or Boom.
Yeah.
Just nice to see someone else get it. So
So really quick, can I put this in the notes because I forgot? But the Eisners happened this weekend. Do you want to talk about that at all, or do you care?
go for it, man. I
Well,
didn't look at
I'm
anything.
pulling. I know Momoko won for best cover art, and that one, like, just like she did one of the ones that she won for was a Power Rangers one, which it's like if anything's gonna get someone to want to read the Power Rangers comic, holy crap, it's that one because it looked so good. But I'm trying to find where all the different winners. Okay, so this is from CBR.com. If I can find it, blah blah blah. Okay. Oh, I don't want to see the nominees. I want to see who won. Okay. Best short story. I don't care about best short story. Best single issue. Sports is Hell by Ben Passmore won, which I don't know what that one is. We gotta get to the ones that we actually read. Okay, best limited series. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber won, which good on you.
For real.
Best new series. Black Widow by Kelly Thompson and Alina Casagrande won. Best publication for early readers. This is up to age 8, so this is like our section, the stuff that we love. And Our Little Kitchen one by Jillian Tamaki. Best publication for kids 9 to 12. Superman Smashes the Klan by Jean Luen Yang and Garahiru. Maybe that's how you pronounce the last name. But best publication for teens ages 13 to 17. Dragon Hoops by Jean Luen Yang, just cleaning up.
He
Hope he gets one for
is.
every age group. Best humor publication, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber. Best anthology, Menopause, a comic treatment edited by M.K. Scissorweek. I don't know. Best reality based work, Kent State for Dead in Ohio by Durf Backdurf. Best graphic memoir, The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist by Adrian Tomine. Best graphic album, Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, which
Hey, you read
deserved it.
that one.
Yeah, no, that's like some peak Ed Brubaker. So, best graphic album reprint, Seeds and Stems by Simon Hanselman. Best adaptation from another medium, Superman Smashes the Klan, adapted by Jean Luen Yang and Gurihiru. Best U.S. edition of international material, Goblin Girl by Moa Ramonova. Translations by Melissa Bowers, not Bowser. Best U.S. edition of international material, Ramina by
What
Junji
are
Ito.
some of these?
I don't know. I'll skip this one because that's another one that's like, what is this? Best writer. So James Tynion for Something Is Killing Children, Wind, Batman, Department of Truth, and Razor Blades, which is like, it's hard to knock that one. I mean, there's a lot of good choices with Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, Jonathan Hickman, Jeff Lemire, and Chip Zdarsky, but it's like the only other person that even comes close to matching all the different stuff James Tynion worked on is Jeff Lemire. So I mean, it makes,
Okay,
and
but
like
volume, doesn't always matter.
I
Like, of those, who would you pick personally?
I mean, I'd probably go with Chippy, but what I'm saying as far as volume, it's like he like Jeff Lemire, the stuff of his I read, killed it on all of it. James Tynion killed it on all of it. Chip Zdarsky, they only had 3 things for his, and he killed it on all 3. But it's like Tynion has more, killing it on more, killing on more. So it's like, yeah, you just win. You win because it's like, oh yeah, you guys are both up here, but you're doing more, so you get more points that way.
Right.
Best writer / artist, and that's Junji Ito for Venus in the Blind Spot.
That's got to be a manga if it's Viz
Yeah.
Media.
Best penciler / inker, or penciler / inker team, and this is Michael Allred. So for Bowie Stardust, Ray Guns, and Moonage Daydreams.
That was an incredibly drawn book. I got
Really?
that one. So yeah, that one absolutely deserves it.
Okay, this is the one I told you about. And like I said, if you're listening to this, Google it because I don't have the picture right in front of me. But Peach Momoko won Best Cover Artist for her Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Mighty Morphin #2. Look that one up by Peach because it's, oh wow. Something Is Killing the Children #12, or it might have been Power Rangers #1 because she did Power Rangers #1 also. Dynamite, Vampirella, The Crow, and Marvel Variants. So yeah, she deserved that. Best coloring, Laura Allred for X-Ray Robot, Bowie Stardust, Ray Guns, and Moon Age Daydreams. Best lettering went to Stan Sakai for Usagi Jimbo. Best comics related journalism periodicals, Women's Right About Comics, edited by Nola Pafu and Wendy Brown. Best comics related book, Invisible Men, the Trailblazing Black Artist of Comic Books by Ken Quartro. Best academic / scholarly work, The Content of Our Caricature, African Americans, Comic Art, and Political Belongings by Rebecca Wienzo. Jeez Louise, how many things were there? Best digital comic, Friday by Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martin. That one's really good. I'm not going to... Best web comic is Crisis Zone by Simon Hanselman. And that's it. But yeah, did you look at that while I was saying the other ones? Did you look at? Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, so she did one of those for each Ranger, like on a different issue.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
All of them look amazing.
But that is all of our news.
Okay, let's take our advertising break and we will be right back. All right, dude, I've got another story for you if you want to hear it.
Yeah, lay it on me, man.
All right, I'll bring up my reminder note here. But spoiler alert, it's about another Marvel fanboy I had this week. Where is this guy? Okay. So these 2 kids come in, and I say kids, they're probably like just out of high school, and immediately start bashing DC, which again, it's like, what is the person working at the comic shop supposed to say when you're bashing any comic company?
Yeah.
But here's how I knew this kid was full of shit. And sorry, you can mute that, but
I mean, that this is all your part to edit out.
Oh, is it? Well, it's on
Yeah.
YouTube anyway, so
Yeah.
it's fine. The YouTube is set for not for kids. All right. Kid's talking about how his favorite comic of all time is Planet Hulk. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Planet Hulk's really good. He was like, I just think Stan Lee is a genius for the work he did on that. I was like, on Planet Hulk?
Gosh.
he's like, yeah, why can't DC do their stuff like Stan Lee did for Planet Hulk? Like it's just way better.
That's so dang funny.
I know. And like that's kind of like the brain power I put all Marvel fanboys at. And like
Yeah,
you guys can come at me if you want to, but like most of the time they've only seen the movies and they think they know everything. And
yeah,
I'm just like, dude, when did Stan even stop at Marvel? Like back in the 90s, maybe? Maybe even before then, right?
probably. I think it was before then, probably like 80s.
And I was like, okay, well, I mean, what DC movies have you seen that you didn't like? And he'd only seen uh the theatrical version of Justice League. I'm like, okay, well, that's like the worst one, you
Yeah,
know? And so I was just like, and like everything he was complaining about, I was like, well, if you watch the Snyder cut, that's fixed, or that it's better in the Snyder cut.
yeah.
And he just wasn't having it. I was like,
I
no,
mean,
you're right. You're right. It should be more like Stan Lee's work on Planet Hulk, you fucking
yeah.
idiot.
I I really wanted you to like show him some more Greg Pak stuff and be like, yeah, this is some other really good Stan Lee comics right here.
Dude, I mean, at that point, there's nothing you can say to somebody like that, right? If
Yeah.
they don't even know who wrote their favorite comic,
You
what can you
know,
do?
my favorite Stan Lee comic is probably Watchmen. I think he peaked there.
I mean, it's pretty good. For me though, I'd probably go with like current Batman.
Yeah, no, that's not bad too. I mean, I think it's a little contrived compared to his earlier stuff, but whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. We can have a friendly debate. But yeah, I wanted to tell you about it that day, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna save it for the podcast.
Nice. I'm glad you did, man. No, it's just that's just incredible though, because it's like it says in big letters on it, this is by Greg Pak. So like how does he come up with the fact that it's Stan Lee?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. He was talking about, and this was another thing too. He was like, I really wish that they would make it into a movie. I was like, well, they did.
Yeah,
It is a movie you can watch. He had no idea. And
and
I mean,
the movie kind of sucked.
I liked it. I mean, it's different than the book for sure, but
It's just one of those things where it's like that for me it is one of my favorite Stan Lee books. And when so like I was like it needs to be like on that level and it's just very much below that. And it's like they kind of had to because they weren't going to make 3 to 4 animated movies based off of one Hulk story, so you knew that they're going to have to cut it down a lot. And
yeah,
yeah,
well, either way, I mean, the dummy still bought a copy of Planet Hulk, so maybe he can read the credits pages and find out who actually wrote the book.
yeah.
But
Well, he's just going to see where it says from characters created by Stan Lee. He's like, I knew it.
keep up the good work, Stan. All right. Thanks for listening to the ad. Or if you guys want to hear me complain about a terrible Marvel fanboy I had in the shop this week, go check out my exclusive story on the YouTube. But now we will get into the books we read this week. And Casey, I will let you tell us first.
So I read Gamma Flight #2, Godzilla, the monsters and whatever monster protectors. I think Godzilla covers it up in line. But Laila Starr #4, Chew #6, Flash 772, Superman and the Authority 1 of 4, Shazam 1 of 4, Catwoman #33, and Blue and Gold 1 of 8. What about you, man?
Okay, I'll say mine in a sec, but I am absolutely devastated that I forgot to bring home Superman and the Authority. because I had every intention of reading that this week. I was
Yeah.
actually really excited for it. And I was like, yeah, this looks like everything,
Yeah.
you know? But anyway, I read Apex Legends Overtime #2, Sonic the Hedgehog #42, Darth Vader #14, War of the Bounty Hunters Jabba the Hutt, Thor Annual #1, Nightwing #82, Moon Knight #1, Shazam #1, Catwoman 33, and Blue and Gold #1.
Nice, man. I think you got a little more than me again.
All right, well, I'll start her off. Apex Legends Overtime #2. This is written by Jesse Stern and Tom Casiello and Manny Hagopian with pencils by Neil Edwards. This was like a neat book because it focuses on characters that I like, but it doesn't have anything to do with the first issue. Like it's a totally different team. Um, and I don't need to go into it because you don't know any of these characters, and I don't know that anybody listening knows any of these characters.
Is a Tracer in it?
No, that's Overwatch.
Overwatch. Okay.
But yeah, it was neat. I just don't know what's going on really, because it didn't tie
Mm-hmm.
into the first one. And the end, it's like, oh, it's kind of a cliffhanger. But is the next one just going to be about another group of characters? Because it's only going to be 4 issues and they've only done like not even half the characters. So
Yeah. Here's a question, because wasn't the last one kind of a cliffhanger too?
yeah, yeah,
So
it
could it be
was.
like the third issues does something, with these other ones, kind of a cliffhanger? The fourth one wraps all of them up together?
I
Like, could
mean,
they
they
like
could they
all?
could pull a Tarantino movie at the end, maybe, but
Yeah, I didn't know how like far apart each, this issue was to the other one, that they could connect them, or.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Like it was fun and I liked it. It's just like, I mean, if it doesn't all come together, then this is bad, you
Yeah.
know? Especially if each one's gonna end on a cliffhanger. But uh, I'm gonna give it a 7. It would be much higher if it connected to anything. Um, Plus, it's really cool to see DNA draw my, some of my favorite characters because the
Yeah.
art's really good and I love that color. But yeah, anyway, 7 out of 10.
Nice. Okay, so Gamma Flight #2. This is by Al Ewing and Crystal Frazier, with Lan Medina on the art. And so yeah, you have the like Gamma Flight with Leonard Sampson still in Sasquatch's body and Titania, and this one Gamma like weird person all teaming up to kind of fight Scar, which like this is not a knock on Al Ewing when I talk about Scar, but he's like the worst utilized character in Marvel Comics for a while now. Like they just dropped the ball on him harder than anything. It's such a layup character that they could have made so cool and so interesting, and they just blew it. But this like there's a fight, so where you have like Sasquatch and Titania trying to fight Scar, and they're getting beat up, and the whole time they're fighting, they're just talking about their love life, which is so lame. So very lame. And yeah, I mean the art in it's pretty cool. Some of the things that happen in it are actually kind of neat. We get a bunch of Hulkbusters, which like that's just the worst name for these things because they do such a bad job. And yeah, it's just like I don't know where this is going, and not enjoying the ride, but this was better than the last issue. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because like last issue there's stuff that stuck with me that I'm like, this was really bad. This one I'm just like, it's just kind of what I expect, which is a 5 out of 10.
2 questions. First up, do you think they're throwing in Scar just because he's supposed to make a live action appearance?
No, I think the big reason why they're throwing him in is because so back like several arcs ago that this just got dropped, but they're like Hulk was a Doc Green. That was his new personality. And he was just like it was kind of it seemed like it was leaning towards like a Maestro type of thing was gonna happen. And he was just getting rid of all of the different people that had gamma mutations. He was just getting rid of their gamma mutations, and he was going to be the only one left. And he got rid of Scars, and so all these other characters are now popping back up, and we still hadn't seen Scar. And then so now he's now back with his gamma powers back too, and like Al Ewing did try to explain it away because like it really kind of boils down to like this was way back in his Immortal Hulk where he was like explaining how Betty got her powers back. It's just like when the green door opens, it stays open. That's basically what it amounted to. It's like you can't ever get rid of these powers for good. Same reason why Bruce can't die. It's stupid in my opinion, but it's like at least he's trying to come up with a reason why that they came back, from losing their powers, which is better than some writers can say. So like I do think that's the only real reason that he's bringing Scar in is because it's like I think by the end of Immortal Hulk he's going to have all of the gamma characters going at it with that devil thing.
Okay. Second question. Did you read that 2008 Scar Son of Hulk that Greg Pak wrote?
So like it was like I think I got 2 or 3 issues from it because it was at Walden Books at the time. That's when I was getting my comics from there, and it's like I think I got the 2nd or 3rd issue from it and maybe like the 7th or 8th. Like I don't remember how long of a series it was, but I was like I had 2 that weren't close to each other. So like I was just like, oh, what's going on now? And like, oh, Sakar's destroyed and he's like fighting Galactus or something. I'm like, I've missed so much. So,
Well, I can tell you it ran for 17 issues.
Okay.
And man, if you had the first issue, it's doing about $20 right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Could sell that and buy a bunch of Captain Atom that I've been thinking about buying.
Hey, I know a guy. All right. Next up for me, then, I'll do Sonic the Hedgehog real quick. This is written by Ian Flynn with pencils by Tracy Yardley. And in this issue, the Deadly Six return. They basically bamboozle Sonic. Sonic is just chilling out in Snowville, sipping some hot cocoa, waiting for the Six to turn up. And they actually go right to his friend's headquarters and start just destroying everything and hurting people. And Sonic like runs faster than he's ever run before whenever his friends call him and let him know. And it's pretty cool to see him get like serious with his speed and get angry because you don't get that very often in this book. So he's just like breaking sound barriers to get there in time. And a lot of stuff happens in between there, but he shows up at the end and has his 90s kind of edgy quip that he has and sets up for a big fight for next issue. So I'm kind of hoping that he still channels that anger and it doesn't go back to like completely goofy all the time, because it would be nice to see him kind of give these guys the beating that they deserve, especially when they hurt his friends. But it was a cool issue. Like pretty much anyone that's been in this series since IDW took over, almost all of them have popped up in this issue. So it'll be neat to see kind of everything come together here. But anyway, it was pretty cool. Better than some others that I've read recently, and I like all of them. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it like an 8 out of 10, I think.
Nice, man. I hope after Sonic beats these guys, he gets a nice chili dog. Does he
I
still
hope
like
so
those?
too. Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. I didn't know if that was just like that one cartoon from when we were kids, the joke one, not the serious one, if that was just a thing from that. So I was just like,
They
well,
kept it going. They're like, you know what, this chili dog thing, there's something to it.
yeah. I mean, I hope they ballpark Frank and IDW teams up for a Sonic hot dog thing.
Oh gosh, I would love that. I want the
Uh,
packaging.
yeah. Do like the Ghostbuster guys when anything Ghostbuster comes out or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's food related, they just keep it. Like there's this guy I follow on Instagram. He's like, I still have all the Ecto coolers from the 80s. And I'm like, that can't be any good.
Man, I wonder how much money it would take for him to try it.
I don't know. I bet people are buying it and then trying it and dying probably though, because he'll post it up like oh it's up to sell on eBay. I'm like, I don't know why someone would buy it, but good on you, man.
I feel like with the name Ecto Cooler, you're down to get something.
Yeah. Okay, so Godzilla Monsters and Protectors #4. So this is by Ed Burnham with Dan Shuing on the art, and still like I like this series okay, but it is very much not for me. And that's one thing that's like I'm okay with because this is more of a kid friendly book. It's pretty fine. Like we get some fights between Godzilla and Biollante. I just want to know how strong, like physically strong, this Godzilla is because in my one of my books I had when I was a kid, Biollante was the heaviest Godzilla like monster, and in this, Godzilla picks her up over his head, throws her in the air, and then shoots her with fire. Throws her like she weighs practically nothing. She's like, I'm gonna Google her weight really quick because I know it's more than it was like more than Space Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah and all of them. So she's a big old woman. So it's got to be pretty big, if
I mean,
more than
maybe
that.
Godzilla just went into the hyperbolic time chamber.
Maybe. I like that Google tries to finish it. So I'm like, wait, then it's like gain or loss. I'm like, no, I don't need to know the Biolante's weight gain. Okay, so her final form was 200,000 tons. That's a big old monster. So, and he just chucks it like it was nothing. So, yeah, that was pretty odd, but sounds like we're gonna get Mothra soon. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean it's a perfectly fine series. It's just like I said, not really for me because it's more kid centered, but I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
So, okay, let's do this. Like, channel kid Casey, who was still very much into Godzilla, would you like be loving this?
I don't know because like that's one thing. Is like I would probably just care more about the art because I really don't care about the kids. I would probably just care about the monster fight, and it's like the art in it. It's just kind of kiddie.
Yeah.
And so like with this Violante fight, it should be a lot cooler than it really is, in my opinion. And that's a big knock for me because like I can take like, oh yeah, you're doing these kids that are fine, like they're you're not getting the annoying dub like I would get when I was a kid when I was watching them. I hated those movies that they had the kids in it because like those dubs were terrible. But like we're not getting that aspect of it, but it's just like at the same time, like I want to see cool monster fights at the very least. And that art style, I like it for certain things, but for the cool monster fights, it just doesn't work.
Okay. I'm just gonna do these Star Wars books kind of together. So we've got Darth Vader #14. This is written by Greg Pak and art by
You mean
Raphael
Stanley?
Anko. Yeah, written by Stan Lee. That's a joke from my YouTube story. So again, go check that out. But this is basically what Vader was doing right up till he walked in the Han Solo auction and was like, he's mine. I didn't know any of the characters or what's happening, so I had no clue what was going on in this, man. Like anybody that's just getting this crossover got robbed of, their 3.99 with this one because it didn't matter.
I gotcha.
um is but can I say it's bad because of that? Just because I haven't been reading anything else? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, is it a bad issue because they slap War of the Bounty Hunters on it and has nothing to do with that? Or
I'm I'm gonna say it can be because it's like they slap that on there. And in my personal opinion, every book should be able to be sat on. Like, you should be able to read any book out there, especially if it's a part of a big old thing like that, and jump in it as a new reader. Like they should. Like I love Greg Pak, and I don't say a lot of bad things about him, but that's someplace that he seems like he must have dropped the ball because like as a new reader, they should be able to like kind of work you in and kind of explain things, even if it's just like little subtext, give that to you as a reader.
right. Fair enough. Well, in that case, I'm going to say it wasn't great. I mean, we see the Emperor and that okay, I guess I can just show him to you. He was in the prequels, like whenever Palpatine was trying to take over the Senate. This blue guy with the horns,
Yeah.
who I'm talking about, like he's in it. So there's characters I'm like, oh, I know who that is, but like the rest of it, it's just like, okay, these are all characters from the Vader series up to this point, but I just don't know what's going on. Uh, so I guess in that case, I'll give it like a 4 because the
All
art's
right.
real good.
The art did look good there.
And, spoiler alert, we get to see Vader slice IG-88 in half, and that is pretty neat. But like, otherwise, I just had no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And then in the same, crossover, we've got the Jabba the Hutt special, which was written by Justina Ireland and art done by, oh gosh, Ibrahim Robertson and Luca Pizzari. And yeah, this was like a much better issue. It's just Jabba uh just like scheming and stuff, and Boba trying to catch up to him and figure out where Solo is. So like it wasn't too much better by any means. But I did like the art a good bit more in this. So I'm gonna give it a 6. But even still, it's like at this point, now we're just to classic Marvel where they're just milking this thing for everything.
That's how it was sounding. Yeah.
Like, but it sucks because I can't just switch to only getting the actual War of the Bounty Hunters issues because some of these issues do tie in and they're very good,
Yeah.
like I've said, but you just don't know which ones it's going to be. So it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. Did like I know you weren't super hot on the Darth Vader, but are you like did any of it have you kind of interested being like I kind of want to go back and read more of this because I know Greg Pak's a really good writer. So I mean, I could see that happening, especially as a Star Wars fan.
So one of the characters that I saw in there, I know is a new character from this run where he's like a new assassin who was sent after Vader. And now it seems like he is very loyal to Vader. And I heard that his arc was very good. So I have wanted to go back and read that. And then maybe all this would make sense. Um, but if it weren't for that character and knowing that his arc was good, no.
Okay.
uh, and the stuff I've read from Greg Pak, I also like. I don't really have strong feelings about him one way or the other, but yeah, if they were like, if you like this, be sure to check out Jabba the Hutt's mini series coming out in September, I'd be like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I got you, man.
But like at this point, we still have August, September, and October, where each of those months have like 5 or 6 issues. And
Wow.
I'm leaning towards I'm gonna pick it up on the shelf, skim it, see if it's actually going to matter before I pick it up. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we're still going through Vader, regular Star Wars, Doc Aphra, Bounty Hunters, the War of the Bounty Hunters, and then we've got specials for like all of the bounty hunters.
Now you
So
liked the Dr. Afro one, right? Didn't you?
it was fine, but it also brought back Dirge from, Gendy's show.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, it's gonna be. I'm more inclined to pick up like the IG-88 special, and there's one for Boosh, which is who Leia, the bounty hunter Leia, was like,
Oh,
impersonating.
okay.
So I'm like, okay, we know that Leia and Lando and Chewie are here. So if she's bringing out the Boosh costume like that, I'm all in for, right?
Yeah.
But some of these others, it's like, okay, you're kind of losing me. It was a very strong start, and now it's just. And I don't blame these writers. It's Marvel, right?
Yeah,
I
100%.
highly doubt that Charles Soule was like, okay, this has to be in here.
Yeah. And I bet you dollars and donuts Pac was just like, this is the next issue I'm writing. And Marvel's like, let's just slap this on it,
Right.
Because like
I doubt
it,
everybody wanted to be involved.
yeah, it's just like, we'll just slap this on and we'll make more money.
Yeah. So it is a shame. And I don't blame the creators. And I'd never heard of the person that wrote this Jabba special. I'm sure if they wrote something that wasn't just thrown in the middle of an event, it might be a little bit better. Man, it's rough. It's
Yeah.
rough.
All right. So I'm going to talk about the mini deaths of Layla Starr, which I'm about positive I forgot to include, but thankfully Jake did not forget. So that was awesome.
I got
And
you.
thanks, man. This is by Ram V and illustrated by Philip Andrade. And I really love this issue. Like, Layla Starr walks into this old temple, and the temple can talk to her because like random things can always talk to her. And so it's telling her about how, oh, her, the temple's friend, who was this old man that would always clean it up and, pray at it and leave it always unlocked and all. It was like and she was wanting to look for the guy that's gonna get rid of death. Layla does. So she asked, where such as, where it is, and he tells her how far away it is, and like, oh, and my friend lives close. Could you check on him, make sure he's okay? And so she's like, yeah. And so she leaves and she talks to the guy, and the guy that it's the same guy that she met as a kid, and then she met him again at that party, and so he's there and he's like talking about how he remembers her, and every time she's around, there's death and blah blah blah, and he doesn't like he doesn't really like her, and he just talked about how he just buried his wife, and so he kind of gets mad and yells at her, and then Layla goes back to the temple and she tells the temple that his friend is dead, and she then dies again, and she's then talking to a life, and it sounds like the guy that's supposed to get rid of death isn't getting his job done, basically. So it's interesting. This is a really good issue, though. I really like it. I'm gonna give this probably 9 out of 10. I really liked it.
Alrighty. Okay, so I will do the Thor Annual, which was written and penciled by Aaron Cooter, and then colored by Chris O'Halloran. And I was talking off air to Casey that, like, normally I'm all about a Thor annual if it doesn't have anything to do with the regular series, because it's usually Thor fighting one of his villains and it's just like a fun fight issue. This was not one of those. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I've read anything else that Aaron Cooter has done. I know I've read plenty of books where he's just doing the art, but basically the light elves are holding this party, and Thor and the League of Realms show up to celebrate because one person from all the realms is supposed to be here for the celebration. And the funny part is that the person that's calling out who's showing up as they're coming through the Bifrost portals, they're like, and Midgard's representative, Spider-Man, but Hawkeye comes through. And Hawkeye's like, wait, what? And Thor's like, oh, it's Hawkeye. And he's like, sorry, Spider-Man was busy today. And Hawkeye's like, wait, how many others did you ask before you asked me? And which I thought was really funny. And one of the other League of Realms was like, I thought you said we were supposed to get Black Panther. He's like, was Frank Castle busy too? And Hawkeye's like, what the heck? And that was just super funny.
That's 100% could be in the Marvel universe, like cinematic universe stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. But basically the whole premise is this light elf priest is actually like different universes Loki, who brings through like this evil Thor and is like making Thor see in his mind what would happen if, instead of like everything that happened to him, if like the opposite happened. And he like hooks up with Hela and becomes like the leader of the army of the dead, and he's still gets his arm ripped off, and he's using this big axe and writing on the Fenris wolf. And this Thor comes through and they have a fight for like half of a page, but then Thor just like grabs him and he's like, I'm the All Father, and I'm going to make you see the life that you could have had, where everything good happens. And then he's like, now I'm going to send you back where you belong, and don't you ever come back here again, or I'm going to finish you off next time. And evil Thor goes away through the Bifrost, and evil Loki disappears, and then they just go back to the party. So yeah, pretty lame.
Yeah, you don't sound impressed.
No. And dude, there is just, this is nearly Bendis level dialogue.
Yeah.
And that was for 3/4 of the issue before we even get to where Loki's like, aha, here's my evil plan. And he does the monologue. I don't know why I did my Skeletor voice right there, but but anyway, and then like the last few pages are part of this story called Infinite Fury, which I guess is happening in the back of all of Marvel's annuals, but I could not be bothered to read it because it was part 5 of 8, and I'm absolutely not picking up 7 more of issues like these for other characters to see what's happening.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever, because it's one thing to do it in a regular book, but in annuals, like, I don't know anyone that's like, I'm going to read every annual.
Collect all annuals. Like, no, Marvel, I'm not going to do that. Yeah,
wow.
This is a truly baffling issue. I'm going to give it a 3 only for the Hawkeye parts.
Okay.
And like, Aaron Cooter is a very good artist. Absolutely. So I don't want to take that away. It's just like, even on its own, this isn't a good story. Because like at the end, none of it matters. Nothing happens. He's just like, you can be good, and don't you ever come around these parts anymore. Lame.
I got you, man.
I'm really glad you didn't ask for it. Like,
yeah. I was like we talked about, I was on the verge, but I'm like, I'm always iffy with annuals because I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna get it, and then I'm like, oh, this is written by Bilbo and has nothing to do with the main story. I don't care,
Yeah, if it had been, I would have thrown it in just so you didn't miss out. But once I saw that it was like Infinite Fury Part 5, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that.
Then you're like, I also sent you Infinite Fury 1 through 4.
Just so you could get caught up.
Yeah. Okay, so next for me is True #6 by John Layman and Dan Boltwood, and I like this a lot. I mean, I didn't even see this on the coming outs, so that Jake helped me out with this one too. But yeah, so Saffron is on a cruise ship now. She just got out of jail last issue, and she's like learned basically how to do all of the terrible things that prisoners know how to do. So she's like, she can safe crack, she can cheat at gambling, she can do all this other stuff. And so then she found out about this thing that she can steal, and this guy wanted her to join his team, but the dude was like, if you join my team, I get to have sex with you all the time too. And she's like, okay. And then she just blew his brains out and stole his invitation to the party that they're going to be going to. And then that's how it ends. And it's like, man, I'm excited to see where this goes, because I absolutely love this series. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, because this is just a setup issue, and like I've never read a setup issue that's like, oh, this is perfect in every way, but it was still really good.
So, am I wrong, or had it been quite some time since we
It
had a
had
Chew
been,
issue?
yeah, because Layman kind of talks about it. Like basically, they just when COVID hit, a lot of crap happened, and they just kind of got 100% behind because of that.
I wonder if they had one of the pencils down rules in effect.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, so I'm just glad they're back, because I missed it.
All right, Nightwing 82. This is written by Tom Taylor, and art was done by Bruno Redondo, Rick Leonardi, and Neil Edwards. All right, Casey, I'm starting to feel the Tom Taylor effect.
Yeah,
This book has been good, but do you have any idea what's happening at all? Like
I
through
know a
social
little bit.
media?
Didn't he find out that he has like a secret sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did. So he takes what Tom Taylor does is he takes Chuck Dixon's perfect history for Dick Grayson, and he's like, what if we had this secret history that nobody knew about? And how often does that work out, Casey?
Not very.
Not very. And I don't think it does here. Now, some people are going to say, well, I think he worked it in really well. And like he did try to make it make sense. So there's this Zuko daughter who's now the mayor of Bloodhaven. And like at the end of the last issue, Dick goes to this lady's house to like try and get some dirt on her. But for some reason, as soon as he gets through the window or gets to the window to break in, he just forgets all of his training and just kind of clumsily climbs through the window and then gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he doesn't have his mask on. So now Zuko, what's her name? It's like Melinda or something like that. I don't know. And her
Wasn't she in like a Tim Seeley run, the Zuko lady, or
this is
am I
a
thinking?
different one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. The other one was just Zuko's daughter. This
Yeah,
one is uh, not even Zuko's daughter. She just has his last name.
oh, okay.
Anyway, so now Zuko and this other lady just knows his identity, which I hate. I hate that. That happens all the time in books. They're just throwing out their identity all over the place, right? But anyway, this whole issue just explains the secret sister. And Zuko bought bought this lady's mom, uh, like a mail order bride, but definitely not legal, right? And she runs away at the circus that the flying or Haley's circus. I'll say Haley circus where the flying Graysons are. And John Grayson basically just like hides this girl in his trailer. And Zuko leaves, and then this lady just joins the circus and becomes good friends with John and I'm totally blank. Oh, Mary Grayson. But Tom Taylor makes it a point to add that they're not together at this point. They're the Flying Graysons, but they're not together. Why? Like, why would Mary agree to that?
Well, they're just friends.
Right? They're
Or
just friends. You know,
maybe they
it's
were
the work wife.
they're like oh well, no, we were cousins beforehand. We all just had the same last name. My last name never changed.
I was like, okay, they're not together. Then I was like, wait a minute, but they're the Flying Graysons. Like, why would it just, that's so dumb to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess it's before John and Mary realize, oh, we're into each other because we hang out all the time. We live together at the circus and we're a part of the same act. Before all that happens, John bangs this girl, knocks her up. And then before she knows she's pregnant and before she tells John, Zuko tracks her down in Star City and kidnaps her back. Anyway, the mom lets her daughter grow up to, you know, like 10 or whatever age she is, and then the mom decides, I'll track down John and let him know he has a daughter. And this time when she leaves Tony Zuko, Zuko doesn't follow her, lets her go because he's over her. She goes to the circus, and there they are, the Flying Graysons. They're married, and oh, they have a son named Dick that's part of their act. So Mama Zuko decides he seems happy. I don't want to like complicate their marriage with this, which I'm like, okay, fair enough. I guess you're robbing your daughter of knowing who her dad is, but whatever. I do want to say that the flashback art is like really, really cool.
That is nice, yeah.
So anyway, that's the end of the backstory, and Dick's just like, Dick, he's like he is in character. He's still super nice to her. And he's like, it's wonderful to meet you. I'm glad that that everything turned out okay for you. And then someone knocks on the door, and daughter Zuko's friend is like, hey, the cops are here and Blockbuster's with them. So then it's like next Nightwing versus Blockbuster.
I mean, it could have been worse. They could have had Family Video there instead of Blockbuster.
Oh, you. Man, I don't know. Am I wrong in thinking that that's just dumb as hell?
I do think it's pretty stupid because it's like changing a character that drastically and then also like showing his identity to them. That's a lot of stuff for the next writer. And that's like a very Bendezi type of thing to do where it's like, I've changed this for forever. So if you're not paying attention to it, well, you're a bad writer for not doing it, even though I don't have to pay attention to anything else anyone else ever did. So, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Like up to this point, it was mostly really good. Like he writes the characters in character. It's just like the choices he made to make this happen they just don't make sense to me. I don't know. Plus, I don't know, even all that still makes John kind of look like a scumbag, right? Because right after this girl is taken away, he's like, well, guess I'll shack up with Mary. Well, they're about the same age.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been, he had a one night stand with this girl, and then then he was like, oh, him and Mary were talking. He's like, I've always liked you too. And then, something like that. It might not just have been like, well, this one left, time for this one,
I don't know, dude. However it worked, I don't think it worked.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble giving it a grade because like the current day stuff that Bruno Redondo did was exceptional, and then I thought that flashback art was exceptional. And when Dick is just interacting with people, he's very much in character. I just think that the secret sister thing is just stupid as hell. So I don't know what to grade it. Am
I
I
mean,
going to
you
keep
can,
reading it? Yes, but because I have to know what this train wreck is going to turn into. But
I mean,
it's not like Black Knight where I'm like, I hate all of this, but I'm going to keep reading. It's like some of it's good, but this is really dumb.
yeah. I mean, you can give it an incomplete. I'll allow it. As your co-host, I'll allow it.
No, I'll say 6.
Okay.
I'll say 6.
All right. So next for me is Flash 772, and this is by Jeremy Adams with Will Conrad's art. And I like this issue a lot. Like it's very much kind of like basically like a breather. Like it's just kind of setting up stuff for Flash. Like after all of this crazy stuff that's happened, it's just like, oh yeah, he's looking for a job. Mr. Terrific, who's owns like a whole chunk of stuff, comes to him, and he's because like Wally gets a job at this like basically speed lube, and Mr. Terrific shows up, and he's like, hey, I own this, I own the speed lube basically, and he's like, you work for me, but I'm going to fire you because this is wasting your talents. I'm going to actually have you come, work at one of his big labs. And like Mr. Terrific here, it's basically just MCU Iron Man, like in all the best ways. Like there's a part where like he's explaining all the different benefits all the people that who works for him has and all this stuff. And then like as he's like, and now I gotta get some free, like, he's like, I have some matters of great emergency to take care of, free lunch. And then he like as he's walking away, he's like, by the way, Steve, your math's wrong right there. It should be point something something. The dude's like, how does he do it? And like it's great. Like I absolutely loved it. And but it's like the one thing I don't like is like he's giving Wally West this big like lab job. And it's like Wally West is a mechanic. Like he should not be an engineer at all. Like I mean, his reasoning behind it is the speed, he knows the Speed Force better than anybody, even Barry. He's all that stuff, but it's like he can't be telling Steve the engineer that he knows Speed Force and the multiverse and all that stuff. Like, so I'm curious how that's gonna work. But then it's like revealed Heatwave has cancer, and so he's just gotta there was like, yeah, just do something that makes you comfortable, and it turns out that's burning buildings. And that's how the issue ends. It's like Speed Force's Heatwave is fighting Wally, and it's such a good issue. It's really nice not having to like all of Williamson's run, which I loved, was speedsters basically, and then like this whole first like what?
Do something that makes you comfortable. Turns out that's burning.
Yeah,
that's the quote of the episode.
That's the title.
That's the title.
But so it's like he then this whole first arc is just, oh, the Speed Force is trapping Barry. He's going throughout time. So it's nice that we're just getting like a regular Rogue as like probably like 2 issues. That's a nice cool down before probably the next speedster villain that we that we have to deal with.
I'm glad you're liking it. I'm still sad that I dropped it when I did.
I know.
Just stuck with it, but
I mean, dude, this is a good jumping on point. I'll just throw that out there.
True, and I am a big fan of Mr. Terrific. All right. Now I'm going to do Moon Knight #1, which was written by Jed McKay and art done by Alessandro Capuccio. I gotta say, Casey, this was pretty awesome.
Nice, dude. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the opposite of Max Bemis,
Oh
which is
wow.
exactly what you want for a Moon Knight book.
Say anything about this book then.
Ah, see what you did there. Um, the art is just fantastic. I want to show you. Yes, here it is.
Dude, that's pretty great. That's background of your phone material right there.
I know, man. It's good stuff. So anyway, so Mark Spector is doing the whole Mr. Knight thing from the Warren Ellis run where he wears this suit and he has this business called the Midnight Mission where he protects those who needs protecting while they travel at night. And I mean, that doesn't actually involve people physically traveling. It's just anybody in his neighborhood that needs help at night. He's there for them. And it's funny because the first group of like bad guys that he busts up is like a vampire pyramid scheme. Like these two vampires are in a truck and he turns around and he's talking to four vampires that look really sad in the back. And he's like, "You're our subordinates, but you go out tonight and infect people and they're your subordinates, and then you reach the rank of Omicron level." And it's just like kind of hilarious that this is
Yeah.
even a thing. So props to Jed McKay on the humor. But yeah, throughout this whole issue, Mr. Knight is also talking to this lady that the Avengers set him up with, who's a therapist, dealing with superhumans and also people with like personality disorder. Thankfully, they don't focus too much on that yet. But basically, Moon Knight's just telling her like his whole life story and catching up. Anybody that doesn't know anything about Moon Knight could jump in this issue and be totally caught up, which I think is fantastic. And he does it in such a good way to where it's not taken up. It's not like My Hero Academia where like 20 of the 30 minutes is a recap of what's already happened, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Then we get more stuff of like him fighting night creatures in hallways, which looks awesome. Um, and then we get to meet the new bad guy. And this guy is really, really interesting. He is also a like a religious follower of Khonshu. Like Khonshu is this guy's god, and he talks with Moon Knight, and he's like, "I don't think you've been doing a good job as the Fist of Khonshu. Like I think you have made this like Khonshu's work your own, and it's not true to Khonshu. And Khonshu is actually being held in like an Asgardian prison because of, I guess something happened in the Avengers that was like a Moon Knight heavy arc that had to
Yeah.
do with like the Phoenix Force and stuff like that. So while Khonshu's not here and talking to Moon Knight, he's like still trying to be the Fist of Khonshu, but this guy doesn't think he's doing it the right way. So yeah, he has his own like statue of Khonshu at his home, and there's a monologue about how he's gonna break Moon Knight's faith down to where he doesn't believe in anything at all. And then he says, "Your right hand has failed you, Khonshu, but your left has not. Your other fist remains faithful." And he calls himself Hunter's Moon. And that's what he looks like, which is also pretty neat.
Can you raise it up a little bit?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, nice. That is cool looking.
Yeah. And his actual name is like Dr. Bader or Batter. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. There's rumor that this guy's going to show up in the show, which could be neat.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be needed because like Moon Knight doesn't have a huge rogues gallery.
He doesn't, and the problem with Moon Knight is they like always go back to the same one. It's like always Bushman or
Yeah.
gosh, I can't even name there was like two brothers that were big uh rogues for him. But anyway, this is like a really refreshing start from Moon Knight. He gets a cool new bad guy, which is actually going to test him in a way he hasn't been tested before. Like nobody else has also been a
Hmm.
follower of Khonshu. So I think that's pretty neat. They're going to be like battling for Khonshu's love, I guess, for lack of a better term. And if it came to it, Khonshu would choose this bad guy because Khonshu's not a nice god.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm all in on this though. This was freaking awesome. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Like
Nice, dude.
anybody that is interested in Moon Knight, this is the perfect jumping on point.
And I just heard that it might appear in the TV show. So those prices have now gone up to $20 per first issue. You're welcome,
Probably
Jake.
so.
All right. So next is Superman and the Authority, and this is by Grant Morrison with Mikel Janin on the art. And so it's weird because it's like it starts off with Superman talking to JFK.
I would say please don't do any like major spoilers because I
No,
will read this in
I'm
a few
not going
days.
to, but it's what I don't get is I'm not 100% sure where where the multiverse this takes place, because like I said, it starts off with him talking to JFK and he's like, "Hey, you want me to, go with you to Dallas?" And spoiler alert, JFK dies in Dallas in real life.
What? Dude, I just said no
And
spoilers.
JFK's like, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So, I don't think he's gonna be fine. But then it kind of cuts to like the regular universe stuff, and you get this is like mostly Manchester Black in this issue with Superman, and it's those two kind of talking, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like, it's really interesting. I don't know anything about the Authority. I know some Manchester Black because of Just Legal Elite, but yeah, I'm very much into this. There's a lot, like, it's a way different world than what I thought going into it. I thought this was gonna be regular continuity Superman, if I'm being honest. And since it's not, it's like it makes it even more interesting. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It was good.
How was Michael Janin's art throughout?
It was its standard. It was fantastic. There's
Okay.
no downsides to it.
I just wanted it to be said out loud.
I gotcha.
Okay, I just have the three we read together.
Yep, that's all I got now too. You
Man,
want
that
to
was
do?
like perfect timing.
I know. You want to do Shazam, Catwoman, and Blue and Gold? Because I figured Blue and Gold we were both most excited about.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I had him laying here. So
Look
it's
at us.
destiny.
All right.
Okay.
With Shazam, it's by Tim Sheridan with Clayton Henry on the art. And what'd you think?
I'll be honest, I actually thought it was pretty cool.
I did too. I thought it was pretty interesting. There's one thing, and I don't know if you'll be annoyed by it at all, but I was a little annoyed. Is Billy was very not smart with his use of trying to transform into Shazam. Because like I remember in the I don't remember who was writing it, but in the Peter Krause series that Billy he talked about, I cannot transform into Captain Marvel inside because the lightning can destroy the house I'm in. And in this, he's just like Shazam, 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 and it's just like, dude, think before you Shazam, man.
Yeah. I honestly didn't think about that because I haven't really read that much Captain Marvel. So this is that's kind of why I picked this up.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I also thought that Billy, like anytime I've like watched or read something with Billy, he's like way nicer than what he's being here. And like I get it because he's losing his powers, and that's probably a lot of stress on him. And also we found out his best friend Freddie was in the hospital, so that doesn't really help either. I was just like, dude, chill out. Like these people are your friends and your mentors.
Well, I will say, and I don't know how accurate this is because I did not read the Jeff Johns run, but I know when he was writing him in New 52, he was a big old jerk. Captain
Yeah.
Marvel was, or Shazam. And so then I have a feeling that kind of transferred over into the other Jeff Johns, Shazam New 52 series or Rebirth because it took forever for it to come out. So I bet like that's still going on in this. I bet they're trying to keep that type of character for Shazam down. That's my guess.
Right. And I mean, it wasn't like so jerky that I was like, oh, I can't read this.
Yeah, not like when
Um,
Jeff wrote it in Justice League. That
mhm.
was rough. I was mad.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought it was neat. Lots of stuff being juggled, you know. He needs to go see Freddy in the hospital, but he also feels like he needs to go to actual hell to
Hmm.
find the Rock of Eternity so he can keep being Shazam and help people. So it's like if it seems like he doesn't care about seeing Freddy, but at the same time, the only thing going through his head is like he doesn't want Shazam just to be super powered. He wants to help people. So
Yeah,
I like that. Um, I really like the scene where Dr. Fate is having a meeting with the Titans. I thought that was pretty cool.
and
Um,
I will say too, like since I know this isn't Kent Doctor Fate, who's worked with Billy a lot in the past, I don't think I'm blank on the other Doctor Fate, the current Doctor Fate's name, but I don't think he's
Khalid?
worked. Yeah, I don't think he has worked with Shazam a bunch. So it's like it makes sense that he would be less likely to tell him. But I think if it was Kent, he would be like, "Yeah, we need to go take care of this,"
Yeah, I agree.
and like that because at first I was thinking about, I'm like, this is stupid. He wouldn't just go to the Teen Titans, be like, "Hey guys, so here's what's going on. Don't let Billy know though. No, he would go to Billy and be like, "Hey, here's what's going on. Let's just do this by ourselves. Let's not let the Teen Titans know because they're gonna want to get involved."
And that makes the most sense because Dr. Fate could just go by himself and take
Yeah.
care of it. Um, but yeah, hopefully he pops up more in this. I mean, he has to because like the Rock of Eternity is involved,
Hmm.
but overall, I thought this was cool. This is what's his name, Dane, just came to his room and opened up a portal to hell, and that's that's where it ends. So I'm very much looking forward to the next one. I didn't realize this was only going to be 4 issues, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
And I will say too, I like that the Teen Titans Academy stuff is actually like it's more than just a Teen Titans Academy book. Like they need to do more with that because there are so many dang characters that
Hmm.
that book can't get to all by itself.
Yeah, yeah. If they keep spinning out minis out of that main book, it's fine, and I'll probably end up picking up most of
Hmm.
them because I like the main book.
Yeah, so far it's been great. Like the only thing I'm not looking forward to is for the future state crap that they did to happen.
Yeah, agreed. So
Oh,
yeah, what would
what
you
would
give it?
you? Yeah, that's what I was about to ask because I was about to move on. I'm probably give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I was thinking 8 for myself, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Catwoman 33, and this is written by Ram V. And the art, cannot find the credits page. It's something Blanco.
Yeah. Well, where
Dang.
is it?
Why don't they just put it in the front?
And you sound like, oh, dude, here it is. It's because I remember this was one of the coolest ways to do it. They had them as
Oh,
picket
yeah.
signs.
Yeah, there we
So it's
go.
Fernando Blanco.
And Jordi Belair on the colors. All right. Your initial thoughts?
I liked it a lot. I thought the story was really well written. I thought it was cool that, like all the villains that showed up. I thought the art was fantastic, except when they got to fight scenes. And then, like, the action scenes don't look near as good as everything else because otherwise it looks great. But some of these action scenes just don't, in my opinion, look that good. What about you, man?
Yeah, I can agree with what you say. I like I mean, some of these panels where it's just like people's faces, like this one in particular of Basil, it's like so good.
Yeah, no, like I was like, man, I love this art. This is so cool. Then like they gets like to the end fight. I'm like, oh, I don't know. But one thing that kind of like I need to check, but it's weird that they went with Basil because isn't he the Silver Age Clayface?
I think so, but I mean, isn't that the one that was part of the Detective Comics team?
I don't know because I know the Silver Age one died because Casually Comics she did like I think it's up to 6-part series on the Clayfaces.
Oh, right, because isn't that her favorite or something?
I don't know. She just was like was talking about them. I think it was the type of thing where she didn't know that there was this many when she started doing it. And then she just started going through and like they're hilarious because she does voices. Like she'll do voice like when she's reading, she'll read as them. So she gives them all different voices. And there was one where she was talking about, I think it was the fifth Clayface, Lady Clay, and that had John Paul Valley in it. So she does a bad French accent for it, and it killed me. So funny.
I do like, as you said, the villains that show up that Clayface is like, these guys need a second chance too. So it's like, okay, so we're gonna see Cheshire and Killer Croc and Firefly as good guys. I wasn't very familiar with Knockout. Were you?
No, and like I would have been kind of annoyed, like with annoyed with having Cheshire in there because I'm like she's one kind of bad. Like I mean, like Killer Croc, you can be like, oh yeah, he does bad stuff, but like I could see him helping. She's one that I couldn't really see helping that much, but you kind of have to include her since her daughter's there. So like it makes sense that that's going on.
I'm sure that's the only reason
Yeah,
because she's killed a lot of people.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall though, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm just like kind of ready for this weirdo in the leather coat to kind of wrap up. You know what I mean? It's like, what's really going on with this guy? Because the
So
most like interesting stuff to me is the other stuff happening.
I will say, like after reading the annual, you did get a lot more about him that makes him a lot more interesting. Like, do you want me to spoil? Did you read the annual? Or do you want me
Ah,
to
go
spoil
ahead.
like
Yeah.
so basically he was trained by the people that trained John Paul Valley. And then John Paul Valley's dad, the church people were like, "Yeah, we don't want to. We're like people are looking in on us or something. So just kill all of them." So John Paul Valley's dad killed all of them except for this guy. This guy got away, and now he's basically a hitman. So it's like someone that's Azrael level, basically, is who looks like hipster hot topic guy is
Yeah.
the one is the bad guy now. So it's like it gave him a lot more cred and made him a lot more interesting. He still just looks stupid.
Yeah, he does. But the end is cool. She's like bleeding out in the water, thinking nobody's gonna come for her, and she looks up and she sees Batman diving into the water. I think she's probably tripping a little bit,
Yeah, I wouldn't be
uh,
surprised.
but who knows? Maybe it is him. Either way, I thought this issue was pretty neat. I think I'll give this one a 7.
Well, we're gonna switch because I'm giving this an 8.
Right on.
Okay, and last up is going to be Blue and Gold, a book that we have been excited for ages, and this is by Dan Jurgens with Ryan Sook on the art. And I'm just gonna say this art is fantastic. The story is pretty great too. What did you think?
I loved it, dude. Like Ryan Sook is mostly a cover artist. So when I found out he's going to be doing the interiors, I was thrilled, and he does not disappoint. Like
Not at all.
none of these scenes, it's like, oh, you can tell he rushed this. Like he's just good all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The concept is cool. I loved Black Adam getting Booster away from the group so that they could invite Ted to be on the league. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome.
And I love too though when Ted's like trying to get them to talk about, bringing Booster on, and they're all like saying bad things about him, except Batman, who Batman loves him because of that dang Booster Gold series, where he basically tried to save Barbara, and
Yep,
he remembers that, and I'm like, that's continuity. That's stuff that we love to see.
absolutely. And yeah, I don't know. Everything about this was really cool. I love that they poke fun at themselves too. Because
Yeah.
Booster's like, we were on the league. And even Ted's like, yeah, when it was not the A-listers.
Yeah. The
And then
one
they,
thing that annoyed me though is like all the comments that he would get on his thing, because like not a single one of them was a porn bot, and that's how you know this isn't realistic. Because if you go into one like famous person's comment section, the first thing is always like, "I'm home alone. Don't
right.
look at my story."
Nah, I feel you. They like I read them all, and like none of thankfully all of them were super short, or it would have been like too much. But
Yeah.
uh yeah, it's cool. They want to be on the league. Even they're like, we don't know half the people on the team, so let's start our own thing, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool. So we'll see what happens there. And the villain that we see on the last page has a pretty cool design. Um, she's kind of like, these two warriors thwarted our plan. Give me the word and I'll go take care of them. And it's like, they're not that great warriors. This is going to
Yeah.
be awesome.
I know. I'm excited. Now, see, like, I'm glad I didn't because it sounded terrible, just the stuff that happened. But it's like, does Ted Cord not have money? Did like he lose all of it in Suicide Squad?
I didn't read it. I don't
I
know.
didn't know if like you read, if you just read stuff online that would tell you or anything like that, or if any of your customers were telling you. Because like the way he talks throughout, it sounds like he doesn't have money. So
Yeah. And it sounds like he doesn't want to tell Booster that.
yeah, which can you blame him?
No, I don't know, but I feel like it's just when they're deciding to like team up, Booster's like, and we've got Cord Industries to back it up. So I wonder if like it could be a thing, kind of like they do with Iron Fist sometimes, where it's like he's still a big part of the company. He's just not like major shareholder or something.
Yeah,
So
I
who knows?
gotcha.
We'll see. We'll see what
Yeah, for
happens.
sure.
But either way, I still love this book. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for me too. It was pretty fantastic.
And as far as stuff that we are excited for next week, I'm going to go ahead and say Mighty Valkyries #4. So I've been digging that book quite a bit. Icon and Rocket #1. I'm all about the milestone stuff coming out. I hope that that's cool. And I mean, man, there's like several that I could mention here. But
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and I'll say Robin #4.
All
That's
right.
been one of my favorites lately.
All right. So I'm gonna be much more basic with mine, but I'm gonna say Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade, #5. I hope that's a good jumping on point. No, I'm gonna say Better Ray Bill, Daredevil, and Headlopper, #16.
I left off those two because I knew you were gonna say them.
Yeah, Daredevil
Yeah.
and Black Knight.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Fantastic Four. The Bucks won the NBA championship, going through probably the hardest way that they could. And, it was basically like the perfect thing for Jake, the happiest thing that could happen for Jake. So give me 4 times where things went incredibly right for you in comics.
Well, sure. This is gonna be a little all over the place. So if these aren't exactly what you were looking for, then I apologize.
It doesn't matter, man. We make up the rules.
So I'm gonna say Dick Grayson becoming Batman. And I know that might be a weird one for some people, but that was one where like if it had gone on longer, I think it's like it would have been just fine. And the stuff that we got was amazing. Um, and then this is kind of vague, but like the 90s Bat Family creative teams overseeing all of the Bat Family stuff that happened. Like they were all working together in the 90s across all the Bat books. And I think that's one of the best times in Batman comics, in my opinion. And then Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples teaming up at Image Comics for this little, indie book called Saga. That was maybe like, and I know that's kind of a new book, but that's like really the one that got me away from just Marvel and DC altogether. And and now I read all sorts of stuff that's not done by the big two. And then lastly, I know this has like been very DC heavy, but I'm going to say Rebirth happening at DC back in 2016 because right before that at the end of the New 52, DC was in a very very bad spot. Like I know there for a while, I don't know that Casey was reading any DC comics. And
I was probably still reading some.
well, I just know we had conversations where you were like, I don't like anything that I'm, I'm reading at DC right
Yeah.
now. And, Rebirth happened and a lot of it was awesome. And I know it's kind of evolved into this infinite frontier, but everything they're doing so far is mostly amazing. So
Yeah.
those are my answers, dude.
Right on, dude. So for me, I'm gonna go with Mark Waid's Daredevil. That was just like that really got me into the character. I'll say All Star Superman because
I thought about doing that one too.
yeah, it's just the best. Um, I'll say the Half Century War. Like it's just about as a Godzilla fan, being a Godzilla fan goes, it's like the best possible Godzilla comic book that you could read. And I don't know, just the New 52. I'm going to say that because it was just, it like, you know, really kind of got it, what we wanted with comics. It knew what it was doing.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, we got 52 new titles.
Yeah. And they were drawing the line at 299. So that was pretty great.
Yeah, for about 3 issues.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. Like I'll like looking at some of the older comics where they're like, we're drawing the line at 299. It's like, man, I wish you would have.
They did for about a year. I looked it
Yeah.
up once. I think it was right at a year.
Man, that would have been great if they do that again.
But dude, if you think about it, it's way better than back in the day when anytime a comic was like still 25 cents where it had still on there, the next issue is when it would change. So they'd only
Really?
do it for an issue.
Dude, do you remember this was like I never got it because it was like still Walden Books era for me. So I know this would have been before you were reading comics, but you probably still have heard about it. There was an anniversary issue of the Fantastic Four that came out at the price that the original Fantastic Four came out at. And I guess like it's like when you look at the sales numbers, it sold incredibly well because it only,
Cost
cost
12
25.
cents.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I never got to read it. I always wanted to though, but never got to.
The one that got away.
I know, right? Like I need to get that for 12 cents.
All right. I think that's the end of the episode. Oh, I do want to say this really quick. I read all of Demon Slayer in the last like 2 weeks.
And you've had Starman for how long?
Quiet, you. I don't want to hear it. I've seen the anime a couple times and then I watched the movie a few weeks ago. I was just like, dude, I can't wait for season 2. It's supposed to drop this year. I was like, I gotta read it. I need to know what happens because I'm starting to see like spoiler things online because the story had wrapped up like a few months ago, and I just didn't want the ending ruined for me. And it was amazing. Like,
Nice.
a spoiler alert, a lot of them die. Like, so many of them died, and at parts was very emotional. I shed many tears. If you guys need a good manga, Demon Slayer.
Does your shop offer a good selection of manga?
No, it doesn't. But my shop can order manga if that is your
Ooh,
thing.
I got you.
And I'm happy to do so and have done so for people. All right. Anyway, closing plugs. If you would, please go to facebook.com/Two Worlds Podcast and give our page a little like. You can also find us on Twitter at two_worlds_PC and on Instagram, where I often share some of our favorite covers to comics, and that is at Two Worlds Pod. You can also email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And please review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this. We would really appreciate it. And again, we are on YouTube, have been for a little while. I throw in a little exclusive story, or Casey throws in an exclusive story during our ad break. So if you want to get the full Two Worlds Podcast effect every episode, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, and like I said, if there's at least 3 comments, Jake watched Purge 2021. He has to watch all of the purges and then rate them with a heavily edited video.
Why would you do this? Nobody wants that.
I want that. I hope our listeners do too. But hey, we'd love to stay in chat, but we got to get matching tattoos. So if Jake ever gets his memory erased, we can both look at our arms and he'll know we're related or friends. Bye, guys.
Bye.